Then, without warning, the boat begins to move. It is not moving with the natural current. The movement is slow, controlled, and deliberate, coming from directly below the ship's keel. The crew It pauses for a single, agonizing moment, then slides effortlessly back into the dark abyss. But it is not one isolated story. Reports like this stretch back our 200 years through maritime history.
It was huge, black as night.
Under the boat. The Gulf of California, also known as the Sea of Cortez. It is a place so extraordinarily rich in diverse marine life.
The Gulf of California, also referred to as the Sea of Cortez, is a region so abundantly teeming with varied marine.
But it is also a place that drops into terrifying, abyssal depths of over 14,000 feet.
They had already given something terrifying lurking in these deep waters a very specific name.
A presence explicitly tied to extreme depth and unimaginable size. And that specific name, notably. When the witness descriptions are examined carefully, a clear pattern emerges. The shape that keeps appearing matches a So, what exactly is it? Is it a massive myth repeated across centuries by people who know these waters?
Let me know in the comments right now if you are a returning explorer. Now, take a deep breath and let us go back out into those dark, open waters.
A long, enclosed gulf stretching between the rugged spine of Baja California and the Mexican mainland.
From above, it appears narrow, almost restrained by the surrounding land. Yet beneath the surface, it opens.
A place where distance is measured not horizontally, but vertically. It drops away into a profound darkness. The visible boundaries of the land give it shape, but the invisible depth gives it meaning.
This unique gulf exists because the Earth itself is still in active motion here. Its floor is slowly
It is not a quiet environment beneath the surface. Even when the water above appears perfectly still, these incremental shifts are large enough to shape an entire ocean basin across geological ages.
At its northern reaches, the Gulf feels approachable and safe. Its waters are shallow and thoroughly.
Mira qué buena pesca tenemos hoy.
The seafloor lies within easy reach of ordinary fishing equipment, a place where human activity overlaps comfortably with marines. The bottom sinks away, first gradually, then with increasing severity. It quickly transforms.
Yet, between these two hostile extremes lies a quiet, life-giving exchange that fuels the entire
situation. This upwelling carries with it the foundational elements that sustain life near the surface. It feeds. These blooms in turn support vast populations of fish, which then draw in some of the largest animals on Earth.
Sea lions cluster along the rugged desert coasts, feeding where the currents bring life within easy reach.
Above, the surface can feel full, active, and almost crowded with life and movement. A strict thermocline forms a sharp boundary between these two worlds. It is a physical layer where the scale of this vertical division shapes everything that lives here. While abundance gathers near the sunlit surface, what can be seen by fishermen and scientists is only a tiny fraction of what truly exists, and what cannot. Long before modern charts traced these waters, there were people who moved across the Gulf with men.
Along the Sonoran coast lived the Seri people, who call themselves the Comcac, a proud community completely.
Their world was not strictly divided between land and water in the way later European observers would describe it.
Each journey required absolute precision, not only in navigation, but in the immediate recognition of what lived beneath them. This knowledge was exact, built from observation repeated across hundreds of lifetimes. They knew which animals could be estimates. When modern marine biologists began comparing traditional ecological knowledge with scientific classification, they
Species distinctions aligned perfectly, and behavioral patterns matched. The Gulf, as understood by the Comcac.
And within that highly accurate system, there existed something that did not fit any known category. It was not described as a spirit or a myth, but as an actual animal with physical form and behavior. It did not resemble the broad, filter-feeding movement of whale sharks, nor the fast, nervous motion of other large.
It required a separate name because it could never be mistaken for anything else. The name they gave it translates roughly to the demon of deep water.
This was not a general term applied loosely to unknown maritime dangers. It was a highly specific designation tied This tradition existed long before any European presence arrived in the region. Ink settles into paper with a very different kind of permanence than spoken memory. And along the coast of the Gulf, within those historical entries, among practical notes about water sources and logistics, appear stark references to
As the centuries moved forward and commercial maritime activity increased, the written records shifted.
A commercial fishing vessel operating within the deep Gulf recorded a massive impact from below that carried enough brute force to severely damage the thick wooden hull.
The structure of the boat bore the clear, undeniable mark of physical contact, not with a submerged rock or...
The observations shared a highly specific timing across decades, occurring most often during the transition from day into night. The proportion is repeated without variation, whether the account comes from an official 19th century log or a modern cruise record. This total continuity stands completely apart from the way urban legends typically change.
Here, the opposite pattern emerges. The description narrows rather than expands, maintaining its rigid structure. If the accumulated accounts are placed side by side, the first defining element is scale. Witness estimates consistently fall into a terrifying upper range. Color follows with unusual consistency. The animal is described as uniformly dark, often near pitch black or deep.
for him. The encounter began with the quiet recognition of something massive moving directly alongside the boat. The animal remained.
Instead of panicking, Rendon used his years of experience to calculate scale.
From that direct comparison, she estimated a length of at least 20 to 30 feet. This range places the animal at the absolute apex maximum of known shark sizes.
For several agonizing minutes, the creature traveled alongside his crew. Then,
Rendon reported the sighting to local maritime authorities, treating it as a serious navigational observation than an isolated fish story. Researcher Jonathan Whitfield, who had been compiling structured testimonies from local fishing crews, compared Rendon's report with additional fresh accounts from that exact same period.
It must have been 10 feet high.
10 feet, easily.
At least 10 feet.
This depth relationship aligns perfectly with a massive natural phenomenon. Under the total cover of darkness,
this nightly biological highway bridges the gap between the known world and the absolute abyss.
To understand the Black Demon, one must understand the sheer scale of its primary domain. In the southern basin, if the tallest skyscrapers on Earth were stacked directly on top of one another inside this trench,
at around 1,000 feet, sunlight does not merely fade, it ends completely. It is replaced by
further down, at depths approaching 3,000 feet, water pressure builds to over 1,300 pounds per square inch. At the absolute floor of the basin, the pressure exceeds a crushing 6,000 pounds per square inch. Human observation has only partially scratched the surface of this vast domain. Deep sea
the remaining volume of water below that threshold expands into billions of unmeasured cubic meters.